Okay, I'm going to try this again and see how this is working out. There, I think that's a little bit better. So what I was saying is there are 4 pillars of happy, healthy living, and they are thinking, breathing, nourishing, resting, and repeating the process again. Your whole life is centered around these 4 practices. Now, you may not be being very mindful of them. You may not be mindful of what you're thinking, and your thoughts are definitely producing your reality. They are definitely part of the life that you are living. How could they not be? So thinking and your thoughts can be very deliberate in helping you to achieve more happiness and definitely assist in healthy living, if not healing. Our thoughts can produce healing. And then we have our breathing. We're all breathing if we're alive, correct? I never quite could understand that when I was younger and I took a lot of aerobics classes. The instructor would often say, make sure you're breathing. And I would be thinking, of course I'm breathing, or I wouldn't be bouncing around this aerobics room. But what she really meant was make sure that I'm breathing deeply, that I'm breathing regularly, that I'm taking a deep enough breath that I'm oxygenating my body. What we have found out, and I'm sure you've heard, is most of us are walking around, we're just breathing with the top third of our lung. And if you place your hand right here on your chest and you just breathe normally, the way that you normally walk around breathing, you would notice that it's all up here on the top. All your breath is moving in and out at the top of your lungs, which is not the best way to breathe. We need to be breathing from the lower part of our lungs. So in order to do that, you have to be deliberate about the breath that you're taking until you get used to it. Babies automatically do this, and I'm sure you've seen them, sleeping little beautiful babies, and their bellies rise and fall. And somehow through the mix and our growing up and we get so busy, the majority of us stop breathing that way. And we start breathing just with the top of our lungs, which is not beneficial to our health. It's certainly not beneficial to your gastrointestinal system or to digesting food, which we'll move into that next, which we'll talk about the nourishment. So we have breathing is the first, thinking is the first pillar, breathing is the second pillar, and then we have nourishment. It's the third pillar. And obviously, to nourish our bodies, we have to eat food. But not all food is nourishing, and I don't need to describe that to you or go into a lot of detail. But when we're talking about nourishing in terms of happiness and healthy living, it's not just nourishing our bodies with food. It's nourishing our relationships. It's nourishing our goals and our dreams. What happens if we don't nourish something? We don't provide nourishment. Well, it withers and dies. The exact same thing with anything in your life. If you stop nourishing your body, it will wither, will become full of disease and unhealthy, and eventually you die. If you stopped feeding your pet, you stopped feeding Fido or your little kitty cat, it would die. You have to nourish it. Same thing with your hopes, your dreams, and of course your body. So we have thinking, breathing, nourishing, and the fourth pillar that most of us don't really give much thought to is sleeping. It's resting. Resting is vital for your health. It is so very important, and it makes a difference, a huge difference to how you're feeling as far as your happiness. How many of you are exhausted and you just don't feel like responding very nicely to people if they're asking you questions. We snap at them. I know when I'm tired, that's the time that I'm most likely to say something that I don't really, to my children particularly, that I don't necessarily want to convey, but I'm tired and I'm not operating at my best. So resting is vital for your happiness and your health. And I like to say it's TBNR squared, because the R is our R, so it's repeat. So we have T for thinking, B for breathing, N for nourishment, R for rest, and then repeat. Those 4 pillars of positive practices will do more for you than any other diet or exercise program or anything that you do in life. Without those 4, without enough positive practices with those 4 pillars in your life, you're prone to sickness and unhappiness. I want you to love the life that you hate. There's no reason to hate life right now. Absolutely no reason. There is so much to be thankful for. This playground. This is a playground that we call Earth, and you were meant to enjoy it. You were meant to feel good, to express yourself and to explore. And we can't do that if we're not thinking clearly. If we're not thinking about the things that we want. So in my programs, I go into a lot of detail about getting your thinking squared away. No more stinking thinking. You have to think about what you want. And when we start with that process, the rest of it, your breathing, your nourishment, and your rest all fall into place. Your head sits on top for a reason. Isn't that something? Your head is up here for a reason. It's first. You first have to have a thought. Thoughts produce reality, whether they're positive or negative. And then the rest flows down and out throughout your life. I like to try to get people to start phrasing their thoughts and then their speech in a very positive way. So no more resistance. We have a tendency to be very negative in our speech, and therefore in our thoughts. We like to say no and not a lot. So just go throughout the day and don't judge yourself, but just monitor how often you're saying no and not. Your brain's not really picking up on that. And this is really important for parents with their children. I'm trying to be very mindful of this. I'm also a teacher. Is instead of saying don't, do not, blah, 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 reframe that into a positive statement. Tell the person, tell yourself what you do want. So here's an example. Instead of saying don't run in the house, say do walk quietly, or do walk slowly, or do walk lightly. When we start thinking and speaking in those positive statements, the rest of it takes care of itself eventually. You know, your body reacts to your thoughts. If you just sit back for a moment and you start thinking very negative things, your body is going to respond. There's going to be a cascade of hormones that kick in and start creating havoc everywhere. Just try it. If you just start thinking of a stressful situation or a time in your life that you were not feeling very well, or you were very sick, or in a fight with somebody, and you start thinking those thoughts, your body responds. Your breathing is the first thing that's going to respond. Your breathing starts picking up or getting shallow. Okay, your heart rate is going to start picking up. Your blood pressure goes up, all from your thinking, all from thoughts. You're not even in that car accident again, or you're not even in the room with that person that you had a fight with. But just thinking about it, your body responds. And that's why I like to start with the thinking part. It's so very important to the rest of your health and your happiness to throw out the stinking thinking. Start thinking positively. Start framing everything that you want in a positive way. And you get better results from that as well, not just from yourself, but from everybody in life. Well, I just want to stop there today. I wanted to try this out. I've never done Periscope before or live streaming. I don't have the best internet connection here. So tomorrow or the next time I'm going to try to do this more regularly. I'd like to try to do it on Wednesdays and have a Wellness Wednesday group, if you will. But the next time I'm on Periscope, we'll talk about breathing and some breathing techniques that can help you, especially when your thoughts are running away from you or you're in a situation where you're just repeatedly thinking some negative things, or you know you're in a situation that you need to create more calm. So the next time we'll talk about breathing. So don't forget the 4 pillars: thinking, breathing, nourishing, and resting. Then repeat. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you don't know me or haven't already joined, my name is Stephanie McCannon. And please like my Facebook page. It's Stephanie McCannon Online. And I'll be posting a lot more things in the upcoming month. School's almost out. So I am turning my employment over. I'm leaving the teaching and I'm dedicating myself to more full-time work at home and doing things like this because I love it. I love helping people create more happiness and health in their life. I want you to feel good, and I know that you can. You just need the right systems. You need the right reminders. You need a little bit of time. There's nothing really I'm going to take you through or encourage you to do that takes a lot of time. That's why I like these little live things. I thought they would be fun, so I can get some feedback from you guys. And I'm watching my screen right now, so I'm going to have to get better about turning that so I can actually see what y'all are responding to. I'm going to try that right now and see. Make me happy and get naked. No way. Okay. That's a little crazy. Okay, so there will be no nudity on my show. Sorry to disappoint you, but feel free to join me next time, and we will be talking about breathing. Okay, thanks.